Hey guys, James here. Today I'm going to be giving you a review on Metabo's Renovation grinder. What you'll see in this review is the tool being used in action. We're going to grind back some of this concrete. We've got some brickwork that we need to grind. I'll tell you about how I think it's performed, and I'll tell you about some of the functions and features. Alright, let's get started. So with the grinder, and you'll see on the base here, this is set up with all these cutting wheels all the way around, and you've also got this sort of like a felt shroud all the way around the outside to help catch some of the dust. You've also got this bit at the end that flips over, so you can get into tighter spots. It's quite handy for getting right up against the edge of a brick joint or a concrete slab, whatever you need there. And then you'll also see it's got the dust distraction on the side here that we can plug straight into our vacuum, which we'll do shortly. It's also got this handle that'll attach on here, so we'll put that on now and then we'll get grinding. Now with the vacuum, it's just a matter of plugging the actual machine straight into that, and then as soon as it detects the power from the machine being used, the vacuum will kick in automatically. Now a couple of nice things I've noticed about this so far is you've got a lock-in switch here. So when you turn that on, if you're doing a lot of grinding, you don't want to be holding the trigger constantly all the time. By locking that in, you can just sort of hold it where it's comfortable. You've got the handle up the top here, and you can just move freely around, whether you're doing overhead work on brickwork or whether you're working below on some of the concrete. So now, down along here, I'll show you where this frame's going to be sitting. There's some inconsistencies in the slab. They're a little bit up and down, so I'm going to try and take those inconsistencies off. But what this is also going to be good for is we're going to polish our concrete slab down here, and the big polishing machines I use can't get in very close to the frame. So if I grind down along this edge, do a bit of a rough grind first, then that'll basically get a lot of that slurry and get it back to the bare aggregate, so that when they do come to do the polish, it's already half ready to go for them. Well, look how beautiful that's brought it up already. You can already see some of the aggregate there. That's going to polish up really nicely. So you can see here the difference between the two surfaces. This is where it's still got a little bit of the old slurry on top. This is where I've ground it back. Pour some water on, should give you an idea of what it's going to come up like. That's really nice. You can see here just how much it actually takes out of that slab. You've got a surface here where it comes along and actually steps up to the old part. So it's taking, without too much pressure, that's actually grinded probably out about 4 mil from the top of that slab. Alright, now that I've done the concrete, I'm going to try out the Reno grinder on the brickwork. There's a little patch here that I might rub back. We might create a bit of a feature wall. So I'll see how it goes testing on a patch here. So you can see here there's quite a lot of imperfections in this brickwork. Some of this brickwork juts out like 15 mil, 10 mil. So we've got, this is the old brickwork up until about here where we've underpinned. Then we've got 50 mil of non-shrink grout. And then you can see where it's all jagged here. This is the old brick footing. Now if I wanted to, I could probably put the Reno grinder over all of this and really flatten it out, because it's just grinding it out. It's really just taking as much out as I want. Okay, now that's cut, it's been done down both sides of the brickwork. Like I said, the chasing machine didn't quite go all the way through the brickwork. So I'm going to use the Reno grinder and just tidy up any loose or sharp edges that there may be a little bit of inconsistency down there. So you can see here the difference where we had the old brickwork that wasn't quite busted out, and then below where we've taken it off with the Reno grinder, just brings it back nice and flush. So yeah, definitely good for tidying up any sort of jagged edges like this. Okay, so there you go. You got to see this beast being used in action. Now let's take a bit of a closer look at it. I'll show you some of the functions and some of the features, and I'll tell you how I think this has performed. Okay, so starting with the front of the machine, you can see here this design. The way that flips up gives you a 0 tolerance. So right to the front of that sanding disc, right there, is in line with that whole front shroud. So if you're grinding up in brickwork, like I showed you in the demonstration of the video, you can get right into the corners and take all the paint and brick out with no problems at all. You can see it more from that angle there, how that is a 0 tolerance cut. The other thing that I like is the dust collection on this thing. It's pretty amazing. Now you can see this sort of like little felt surround that we've got here, and then off the side you've got your dust port that comes off into the vacuum. So that it just collects so much dust. It is, like I said, unbelievable. The other thing it's got is the adjustable handle on the side, so you can roll that forward and back depending on what you feel comfortable with. The weight of the machine itself, 4.8 kilos, so not too bad. Cutting disc diameter on this, that's 125 millimeters. Cord length on the machine, 4 meters. So again, that's quite handy when it's plugged into your vacuum. You've got no load RPMs of about 8,500, and then under load you're at about 5,700. So not too bad. Now Metabo make 3 different kinds of models of this renovation grinder. This one's the RS-17-125. So take a closer look at that on their product information guide, and you'll probably see more specs and technical information about the machine itself. How do I think it performed? Awesome. Now, I just can't believe how much concrete these things can actually chew through. When I put it down our slab and I was going around the edge prior to the whole concrete polishing taking place, we just went right around where the perimeter was, which you saw in the video, and it just chewed it out unbelievably, and even on some of that rough brickwork. So I was quite impressed with how much it can actually take out, but not only that, how good the dust collection was on this thing. Now, Metabo are really well known for their concrete resurfacing, concrete fixing tools. They've just got a really good range of gear that is quite underrated, I think, in the market. So if you're doing concrete cutting, if you're doing sawing, drilling, any of that type of work, even core hole drilling I've seen lately, some of the gear that they're coming out with, it's absolutely amazing. So if you are the type of person that works with a lot of concrete, a lot of brick, I would highly recommend checking this out. Alright, thanks for watching the video, guys. If you've enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new, subscribe, and yeah, check out some of our social links below, and feel free to follow along. Alright guys, until next time, take care.